The season for flea and tick infestation has changed dramatically in our tri-state area. Both global warming and the movement of wildlife into our urban and suburban neighborhoods are likely to blame. Fleas that were once a mid-spring to Halloween problem are now hatching later in May and June and are plaguing our pets into Christmas and beyond. Since the reservoir for ticks is not our pets, but is the wildlife who are moving in on us, we're seeing ticks even on backyard dogs and cats who don't go to the usual tick habitats, infested fields and woodlands. Like the flea, ticks are not being killed by early fall frost as reliably as in the past. These fluctuations in the insect schedule and feeding grounds make it imperative to maintain effective monthly application of proven topical products that can repel and kill ticks and fleas, while also preventing the maturation of the larval stages and the egg stages. The most effective products like Advantix 2 and Frontline Plus are easily applied on a few key locations of the skin. They remain effective on the surface of your pet for an entire month and are safe as well for the family who's handling the pet. Even with the application of these products, you may still see an occasional tick on your pet. This is because ticks are very hard to kill. It takes Advantix 2 up to 24 hours and Frontline Plus 24 to 48 hours to actually kill the ticks. So these products are for the ticks you do not find and remove yourself. Check your pets over regularly, all over their body, especially when you're out camping, hiking, doing all the outdoor activities. A daily check around the neck and head, between the paw pads, areas where you think the ticks might like to hide would be a good idea. They can be removed though when you find them very easily by just taking forceps or tweezers, kind of pinching the skin on either side of the head and mouth parts of the tick, pinch together and just suddenly pull back, and you'll remove the head, the mouth parts, the entire tick, along with a tiny little bit of skin, which really doesn't hurt the pet because the tick saliva does anesthetize the skin. Just be sure not to squeeze the large abdomen of the tick when you're doing it. Fortunately, in our immediate area, the incidence of Lyme disease is still low. Dogs who've traveled north, east, and south of Pittsburgh are at greater risk. While Lyme disease and other tick-transmitted diseases are always a possibility, we do not recommend that every dog who you find a tick on be placed on prophylactic antibiotics. The most common signs of Lyme disease, if they do contract it, are developing a fever that's high enough to affect their eating and their activity levels. And also, most pets that are infected with the Lyme bacteria will develop multiple painful joints. Now, these symptoms are usually not subtle, so any affected dog or cat should be examined by a veterinarian and diagnostic testing done. Antibiotics for an extended period of time are normally a very effective treatment for Lyme disease in our pets. To best protect your pet, I'd like to suggest some tips for the application of Frontline Plus and Advantix 2 on your pets. Whenever you apply it, you must part the hair coat to allow the product to go directly on the skin. You place it on the skin, then you push the hair back together, and you do not rub that area for 24 hours. Otherwise, you might affect the distribution of the product over the entire body. Because these compounds rely on having some skin oil present to allow the spread over the whole body, they must not be applied within 3 days of bathing, on either side of 3 days of bathing. Small dogs can get their application on one site between the shoulder blades, but a large dog with a very long back must have it applied in several areas directly on the skin down the back of the dog, and that will ensure that you get adequate coverage over the whole pet. Now, you sometimes will see a wet spot where the product was applied. This is normal due to the wicking of the product on the hair shafts and will disappear in a day or two. Now, with cats, it's a whole different story here. Since they groom constantly, you must apply the entire dose to one spot where the neck meets the shoulders and do not go any further down the back than that. If using Advantix 2 on dogs in a mixed dog and cat household, especially where the dogs and cats are buddies, you've got to keep the dogs separated from the cats for 24 hours. There are no such restrictions with Frontline Plus. So if you follow these directions, your pet should have a pest-free summer and you will have peace of mind. And that's another pet health tip from the staff of Pittsburgh Spay and Vaccination Clinic, a full-service veterinary facility.